It's been many days that I have not uploaded any videos due to some reason, and within 2 months now 10th standard will be having their board exams, so definitely I won't be able to complete the videos on all the chapters of science. So at least in this month I'll try to upload videos on which will cover the important topics of science, whichever chapters are included for the board exam. And now this video I found it very important to upload since board exam is within 2 months, and in this video we are going to cover the whole concept of board exam. The next video which I'll be uploading definitely in 2-3 days after this, and that we will be learning about the writing skills only of science paper, section A and section B both. Now in this video we will only talk about the board exam. Basically, since I have the experience of checking board papers from last 4 years, so the whole idea of board exam is clear: how to check the papers and all together what all questions are supposed to come in the board exam. Now basically I'll tell you one of the thing is, and since in this video I'm not using any of the board, so it will be difficult for you all to grasp everything, so I want you all to pay attention towards every single detail to what I am saying. Now the whole concept of board is, in school or in classes, teachers might tell you that this question is important, that question is important, and you might take the questions and learn for the exams and all. But the whole logic is, even I say to you all that this question is important, I am not going to set the board paper. Neither the school teachers or the class teachers are going to set the board paper. So as if, according to me, there is no such thing like importance. Whatever important we feel, the way the paper, the question comes in the exam from so many years, those questions which are likely to come, or those questions which have came many of the times, we feel that those questions are important. But there is no guarantee that that question will come this year. The whole concept of board is, board does not want any students to fail. That is the thing. And even the board does not want any of the student to score out of mark. Yes, this is the fact. Now when I say board does not want any student to fail, that means some questions will be included in the paper every year from the years the board exam has been started this year and the years to come. Some of the questions will come in such a manner that the student can attempt all the answers in his own words. And why the board does not want any of the student to score out of mark? For example, if a student is scoring 40 out of 40 in section A science, what does that mean? That student is having every single detail of science subject. Now when we talk about science subject, the whole knowledge of science is not there in that A4 size of your textbook. So when a student scores 40 out of 40, that means that that student has a proper or overall knowledge of the science. So that is not possible. Clear? Logically, any person or neither the teachers can have overall knowledge of the science. I'm not talking only about the syllabus. I'm talking about the whole concept of science. So logically, some questions, at least one question will be there in each of the subject. Or whatever details I am giving it now, this I am not talking only about science, this I am talking about each and every subject. So whatever details will be included in the paper, whatever things will be included in the paper, in that at least one question will come which will be related to the chapter, but the concept will not be given exactly in the textbook. So those students who want to score out of marks, at least 39 out of 40, they have to be prepared for such type of questions. Now if we go in a logical proper manner, so the thing is, there are group of teachers who set the board papers. According to me or according to y'all, there might be some questions which are important, but in the board only that questions will come, those who are important, those questions which are important from the point of view of the teachers who are going to set the paper. if they feel that this particular question is important, that is likely to come. I'll give one example to you all. Science, I think everyone feels, or even I feel, that the answer of human heart is the most important, right? But I have not went through all the papers over the years from this from wherever this syllabus has been started. But I think heart answer has come only once in board exam in this many years. Even though we feel that that is important, there are less chances that it might come in the exam. The simple logic is, if I want to explain this in a simple manner, 10 chapter for y'all, there is a concept called as nephron. Now, definitely it is an important concept, clear? And you, for writing the answer of nephron, you should be having a clear-cut idea about that particular concept. But if a dull student is there who has not studied so much over the year, he will not be able to write the answer of nephron. But the same chapter is having a particular concept on photosynthesis. Now in photosynthesis also difficult points are there, like about ATP, adenosine triphosphate. But at least that dull student can write it down from the question that photosynthesis means plant can prepare their own food. Photosynthesis means plant want water or carbon dioxide. So if the question is coming for 3 marks, at least the student can get 1 marks. The whole logic is making a point clear cut here is the questions we feel that it is important. There is no guarantee that that questions will come in the board exams. Clear? Second thing, students have the habit of learning the star mark answer. Yes, that is what they call it as. In actual, the asterisk mark answer. Now, when they learn the asterisk mark answer, the mark answers which are there in the exercise, or the questions which are given, which are marked by the teachers that is important question or this is important question, and something into the chapter comes in the exam, but which was not that much important, then the student has a complaint, or which I have found in so many years, that students say that the question or the paper had came from outside. Where outside? The paper or any of the question doesn't come from outside. It is related to the chapter. So if you want to score good marks, or if you want to score out of marks, you should be having a clear idea of whatever single details which are given in the chapter. That is why revision from the textbook is very, very important. If I conclude this in one point, so basically if I'm learning the answer from the notes, so one chapter would be having minimum 30 answers, from answer in one sentence to big answer, short note, distinguish, give reason and everything. Clear? So from one chapter, if I am about to learn 30 answers, definitely I won't learn 30 answers. Minimum take 10 answers if I'm learning. This way, if I do of each and every single chapter, I'm missing a large amount of content. I will feel that I have studied a lot. I have completed my syllabus, but in actual, half of your portion is remaining. And if those questions are asked in the exam, you will get very less marks. The next is, it will be always told to y'all that question number is important. Writing proper question number. I'll tell you from a point of view of an examiner that why question number is very important. Now basically, if suppose there are overall any subject 4 questions, 4 main questions, if you all are writing the question number properly, we have the choice of giving you marks or either not to give you marks. So it depends upon the examiner. If you are scoring average marks means 20 out of 40 or 25 or 30, then if there is a question of 2 marks in which you have not written the question number properly, even if it is exact right, we won't give you marks. That is why writing question number is very, very important. Clear? The next is, the way of checking papers is different for different students. Now a student is failing, suppose failing means getting 12, 13 marks out of 40. Now passing marks is 14 marks. So we will check the paper little bit lightly. Those students who want to score very good marks or out of marks, this is an advice. Presentation is very, very important. Now when a paper is checked, this is very important point. When a paper is checked in the school, name or roll number is written, the teacher has an idea that this student is a brilliant student. Even though that student has made some mistake, overall marks is given out of. But while checking the papers, when we check the papers, we don't know the student, we don't know the identity of the student. So the whole logic is, you have to make an impression in front of the examiner. So when you make a presentation properly without any cancellation and all those things, we get an idea that this student is a clever student. And what is the advantage of this? The advantage is, if there is a question of 3 marks and there you all are losing half mark, you all are supposed to get 2.5, but we feel that this student is brilliant, this student is having a proper knowledge, so we won't cut mark there, and 3 out of 3 would be given to you all. So this is the advantage of presentation. The next is writing a new question on a new page. Now definitely this might be told to you all by your teachers and all, but why it is important? Because when we check the paper, we have to tally the marks at the top. When you write, suppose 5 questions you have to attempt, but you have attempted only 4 questions and 1 question you have written at the last page. So what we have to do is, we have to carry forward that marks onto that page, the first page, and then calculate it properly. We have almost 250 to 300 papers to check. We are not going to take efforts for a single student. Mostly all the examiners give the marks, but there are chances that you can lose marks if you all are passing. So why to take a risk? So the thing is, when you solve 1 question, 5 questions you have to attempt, suppose 4 questions you have attempted and 1 question you want to attempt later, you want to think over that question, leave space for that question so that you can come back to it again later on. The next is, for the student who want to score good marks, especially in maths, algebra and geometry, because that is a subject in which you can score out of marks. Marks are there for each and every step. You cannot skip the steps. One simple example I'll give, the formula method you all are having, in fact in quadratic equation, formula method sum. I think when you solve a particular sum by formula method, altogether if you count the number of steps, 10-11 steps might be there, but the sum mostly comes for 3 marks. So if I calculate half mark for each of these steps, so only 6 steps are having marks, but which steps are having marks, that changes every year. So even we don't know that this year which steps would be having marks. So from your point of view, what you all have to do is, even if you find any of this step is very simple, is very logical, but then too you don't have to skip that step. This is applicable for algebra also and geometry also. And also the theorems, at least 1 theorem will come in the board exam. If you ask me what are the important theorems, definitely theorems are there in first and second chapter of geometry. BPD theorem, 30, 60, 90 theorem. Then cyclic quadrilateral theorem, inscribed angle theorem, angle bisector theorem, and Pythagoras theorem. These are the important questions, but again I'll say, we don't have the guarantee which questions are likely to come, so you should be prepared for everything. Now if I ask you which is the important theorem of second chapter, definitely you will be saying inscribed angle theorem. But inscribed angle theorem, again I think it has come only 1 time in the board exam. So again we are on to that point that there is no guarantee. Whatever questions we feel as important, they are likely to come. Other questions can also come. Now the whole conclusion of this concept, definitely in the next video, within 2 days I'll be uploading next video, and that will be about each and every single questions which are likely to come both in section A and section B of science. From name the following, match the column, distinguish, short notes, everything will be covering. What mistakes you don't have to do, and how you'll have to write the paper so that you don't lose a half mark also. Now the whole idea of this video is, however clever student you might be, however intelligent student you might be, when you write first time the board paper, you will be nervous. Definitely you will be nervous. But if you think in a logical manner, 10 years of your school life you'll have to prove in just 2 hours. See, imagine this. 10 years what you'll have spent. In 5th standard you might have got 50 out of 15 all subject. 9th standard, or leave about 9th standard, this prelim exam also you might get 40 out of 40 in science, or in 40 out of 40 in algebra and geometry. It doesn't matter. Logically it doesn't matter. These marks are not going to count. So whatever efforts you all have taken in 10 years, you have to prove in just 2 hours of your paper. So just 2 months are left for your exam. Give your 100%. And the basic and the best advice or the best tip is, for all the theory subject, if you want to score good marks, have a clear and proper knowledge of whatever is given in the textbook. Every single detail you should be knowing. Like if anything is asked from that, you should be able to answer. If you have done like this studies, definitely you can get out of marks. Thank you.